again!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I am Gursshheen Gahllen. Let's get started. On the show today, Pakistan has been left red-faced after the ICC officially rejected their protest in the infamous Handshake Row. After failing miserably against India on the field, the Pakistan Cricket Board turned to politics, demanding the dismissal of match referee Andy Pycroft. They alleged it was the referee who asked team captains not to shake hands. But India refuted the claims, and now the ICC has flatly rejected Pakistan's plea. So what's next? Will Pakistan actually go ahead and boycott the Asia Cup, as they earlier threatened, or is this just more noise from across the border? Meanwhile, history was made in tennis. India stunned Switzerland 3-1 in the Davis Cup, securing their first away win over a European nation in 32 years, a result that's been hailed as monumental for Indian tennis. But here's the question. Can India really claim this victory? Because behind the glory lies a dark truth. All that and much more. But first, let's take a look at the headlines in Sports 360. Starting with chess, India's Vaishali Ramesh Babu clinched the Grand Swiss 2025. Vaishali clinched her second consecutive title after drawing her final game against former world champion Tan Zhongyi. With this, Vaishali has also secured her spot at the candidates. She joins Koneru Humpy and Divya Deshmukh for the 2026 event. In athletics, pole vaulter Armand Duplantis broke the world record for the 14th time in his career. Duplantis cleared 6.3 meters at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. With this, the Swede also clinched the gold medal for the third consecutive time. Moving to cricket and the Asia Cup, Sri Lanka beat Hong Kong by 4 wickets in a Group B clash. Put into bat first, Hong Kong posted 149 runs on the scoreboard. In reply, Pathum Nissanka's 68 helped Sri Lanka chase the target inside 19 overs. Meanwhile, the UAE registered a 42-run win over Oman. Mohammad Wasim scored 69 to take UAE to 172. While bowling, Junaid Siddiqui picked 4 as Oman were bowled out for 130. On to American football, Tom Brady will feature in a flag football tournament in Saudi Arabia next year. The NFL legend will be joined by current and former stars. 3 teams will compete from the 21st of March in 2026. The sport is set to make its debut at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. And it was a double delight for India at the Speed Skating World Championship. Anand Kumar clinched India's first ever title in the senior men's 1,000 meters. Just a day before, he also secured a historic bronze in the 500 meter sprint at the same championships. Meanwhile, Chris Sharma claimed the junior 1,000 meter sprint gold. The India versus Pakistan rivalry may have lost its balance on the pitch. India dominates, Pakistan crumbles. But one thing never changes: the drama that follows. It's been 2 days since the Asia Cup clash, and yet the Handshake Row refuses to die down. Pakistan is now crying foul, turning what should have ended on the pitch into another off-field controversy. The PCB has filed a protest against match referee Andy Pycroft, claiming it was he who told the captains not to shake hands. India, of course, has refuted this, and ICC have rejected their plea. And now, Pakistan is threatening to boycott the Asia Cup if their demands aren't met. But really, are they exposing anyone but themselves? Let's be clear. The gulf in class between 2 teams was obvious. India crushed Pakistan by 7 wickets and the contest barely lasted. So what does Pakistan do? Instead of addressing their failures on the field, they are scrambling for excuses, desperate to control the narrative. The PCB insists Pycroft instructed no handshake at the toss. But the world saw what really happened. Even after the game ended, the Indian team stood firm and refused a handshake. And the team didn't shy away from owning up to it. For India, this was never about ignoring a tradition. It was about sending a message. But Pakistan, they want to drag Pycroft into it, demanding ICC hold him responsible. A desperate case of sour grapes. And let's not forget, a handshake isn't in the rule book. It's a courtesy, not an obligation. A team is absolutely within its rights to refuse, and India made its stance clear. Crystal clear, in fact. Even fans and experts hailed India's decision. Social media backed the players. Former cricketers praised the stand, and Pakistan was left red-faced. But here's the real twist. ICC has rejected Pakistan's plea. And why wouldn't they? Pycroft is one of the most respected, most experienced referees on the panel. He didn't break a single law of the game. If anything, maybe it's the PCB that needs to read the rule book. But instead, they are doubling down, threatening to boycott the Asia Cup unless Pycroft is removed from the remainder of the event. They even claim they might skip their match against the UAE. Clearly, this is drama at its peak. But here's the reality. Pakistan knows that without India, their cricket has no buzz. Without India, their board has no bargaining power. And without India, their players have no spotlight. In fact, even former players aren't sparing them. When legends on both sides start mocking Pakistan's cricket, you know the decline isn't imagined, it's real. So where does Pakistan cricket stand today? On the field, they are clearly failing, and off the field, they are crying foul. And in the boardroom, they are using boycotts and complaints as smokescreens for their shortcomings. This so-called Handshake Row isn't about sportsmanship. It's about Pakistan refusing to accept reality. India has moved forward. Our players, our board and our fans sent a clear, united message. But Pakistan, they are stuck in excuses. And maybe that's the harshest truth of all. The rivalry that once defined Asian cricket has become a one-sided saga. Because India is playing cricket, standing by the emotions of the fans who built cricket in the nation. It is Pakistan who is playing the dirty politics. India scripted history at the Davis Cup after beating Switzerland 3-1. For the first time since 1993, the Indian team managed to beat a European nation on their own turf. A monumental achievement, right? But here's the big question. Can Indian tennis really claim this win? Because the players didn't just battle Switzerland, they battled something much tougher, the failures of their own system. The logistical nightmares, the administrative blunders, the sheer apathy of the Indian Tennis Federation. It's almost as if India's biggest opponent isn't across the net. It's sitting in the offices of the All India Tennis Association. Tennis is often seen as an individual sport, personal coaches, personal trainers, personal funding. But when you put on that India jersey, the sport transforms into a team battle. And the National Federation is supposed to play the biggest supporting role. But at the Davis Cup, that support was missing. In fact, instead of sending the best possible squad to Switzerland, the ITA had other priorities. Not tennis, not players, but officials. The federation debated whether to send 3 double specialists because that would eat into their budget. Budget they preferred to spend on flying in officials, those officials who had nothing to do with the winning matches. So while the players were preparing to grind on the court, the administrators were preparing to sightsee the Swiss Alps. Had it not been for Captain Rohit Rajpal, India might not even have had the proper team balance. Rajpal pushed back. He ensured there was enough depth in the squad, and when Yuki Bhamri pulled out, his decision proved vital because Ritwik Bolipalli stepped in. Imagine that, a win scripted not because of the system, but in spite of it. The doubles team may have stumbled, but India still fought hard. And 2 men rose to the occasion, Sumit Nagal and Dakshineshwar Suresh. First up, Dakshineshwar Suresh, a raw rising talent. Rajpal saw his potential early on, but did the Indian tennis system fight back him? Absolutely not. From his junior days to the professional circuit, Suresh has had to fund himself. Travel costs, equipment, training, all handled from his own pocket. His saving grace, former star Somdev Devvarman, stepping in as his mentor. And then there's Sumit Nagal, India's top-ranked men's singles player. Last year, Nagal pulled out of the Davis Cup. How did the ITA respond? With empathy? With support? No. They accused him of prioritizing money over the country. The same player who represents India globally had to defend himself on social media, clarifying he wasn't turning his back on India. The recognition bare minimum, the criticism through the roof. And yet, despite all of this, these players delivered in Switzerland. But here's the problem. This win will now be used by the federation as a shield. They will boast about India's historic triumph. They will expect players to keep performing at the highest level. But when it comes to providing the structure, the funding, the vision, the ITA is nowhere to be seen. Just look at the global picture. Nations that dominate tennis, Spain, USA, Switzerland, France, they don't just rely on 1 or 2 stars. Yes, Federer and Nadal are generational talents. But would Federer have been Federer without Swiss backing? Would Nadal have survived without the Spanish system, building academies, grassroots programs, financial pipelines? Every strong tennis nation invests heavily in youth, infrastructure and coaching. India, on the other hand, expects players to fight without weapons. India's Davis Cup win over Switzerland is historic, but it's also a mirror showing us that Indian players are carrying the tricolour on their shoulders while the federation sits back and enjoys the ride. If India truly wants to be a force in tennis, if we want to see an Indian star dominate a Grand Slam or crack the top 10, then the system must change. The players have done their job. Now it's time for the administrators to do theirs. Until then, Indian tennis will keep winning the occasional battle, but unfortunately will keep losing the long-term war. And finally, it's time for Last Serve. Germany's basketball team returned home to a hero's welcome. After 32 long years, they finally reclaimed the Eurobasket title in style. In a nail-biting final, Germany edged past Turkey 88-83 to script history. And the celebrations that followed, nothing short of electric. Watch as the German team soaks in the moment and shares their historic triumph with ecstatic fans. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gursshheen Gahllen and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Until then, stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.